You're not imagining things. The weight showed up, especially around your midsection, and you barely changed anything in your routine. There's a real biological explanation for that, and that's exactly what you're about to understand today. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's slowing down your metabolism after 40, and why effort alone doesn't work when the issue is physiological. If you're here, you've probably tried more than most. Diet, exercise, discipline, and still your body doesn't seem to respond. That's not weakness, that's biology, and biology follows rules. If at any point you catch yourself thinking, okay, that explains a lot, hit like. That tells me you're one of the metabels who's already realized the problem was never a lack of effort. Let's start with the main character in this story, estrogen. It's not just a female hormone, it's a true metabolic regulator. It influences where your body stores fat, how it uses energy, and how it responds to insulin. When it starts to decline, and that begins years before menopause, during perimenopause, your entire body gets a new set of instructions. It's basically an internal reprogramming, no warning, no manual. Menopause is that phase where your body decides to test your patience in ways you didn't ask for and definitely didn't expect. Sleep gets worse, your mood swings, fat shifts, and it has a favorite destination, your abdomen. Not by accident. With less estrogen, your body redistributes energy reserves towards central areas. It's an old survival response. The problem is, the context has changed, and your body didn't get the memo. And here's the part that changes everything. This isn't just about one hormone. It's a cascade effect. One hormone drops, which affects another, which impacts your metabolism, which disrupts your sleep, which raises cortisol, which affects your weight. Your body didn't break, it changed phases, and understanding that phase is the first step to working with it, instead of against it. Think of your hormones like a team that for years worked well together, each one doing its job, in sync. Estrogen, progesterone, insulin, cortisol, leptin. They operated in balance. Now imagine the leader of that team starts going missing. Estrogen drops, and the rest of the team shifts right along with it. Because that's what happens. Hormones don't work in isolation. When one changes, the others feel it. And estrogen specifically had a role most people don't even realize. It helped direct where fat gets stored. When levels are healthy, your body tends to store fat in the hips and thighs, more peripheral areas. When it declines, that address changes. Fat starts accumulating in the abdominal visceral region, the kind that sits between your organs, not always visible from the outside, but very active internally. And visceral fat isn't just about appearance. It directly affects insulin sensitivity, inflammation, and cardiovascular risk. It's metabolically active, just in all the wrong ways. That's why your belly shows up even when you haven't changed anything. It wasn't you, it was your internal chemistry quietly reorganizing priorities without asking. If you're tired of trying things that seem to work for everyone else, except you, this is your place. Subscribe and stay with me. You wake up exhausted, and the day hasn't even started yet. That's not laziness, it's not a lack of motivation, and it's not just getting older in the sense that you're supposed to accept it and move on. It could be your thyroid running in power-saving mode, and doing it silently. Your thyroid is the master regulator of your metabolic pace. It produces hormones that control how fast every cell in your body uses energy. When it's working well, you feel energized, mentally clear, and stable. Your metabolism is active. When it slows down, even subtly, still within what lab tests call normal, everything starts to drag. Your digestion, your thinking, your mood, and yes, your weight. The issue is that your thyroid is sensitive to several factors that become more pronounced after 40. Declining estrogen, rising cortisol, nutritional deficiencies like iodine and selenium, and low-grade chronic inflammation. It's not uncommon for thyroid function to start dipping right when all this converges, leaving you feeling like you're running on empty all the time, with no reserve. And here's the frustrating part. Standard lab tests often don't catch this subtle decline. You get tested, your doctor says everything is within range, and you're still left feeling drained with no clear explanation. What you're feeling is real. Your body is trying to tell you something, and learning how to read those signals changes everything. You look at food, and your body is already stockpiling. It sounds dramatic,
but physiologically, it's pretty close to what's actually happening. And once you understand why, the blame shifts off you and lands where it belongs: biology. Before 40,
Estrogen acted like your body's logistics manager. It directed where fat should be stored, and the preferred locations were peripheral: hips, thighs, glutes, areas with less immediate metabolic impact. When hormone levels drop, that manager steps out, and your body switches to a much older, more primitive backup plan. Store fat centrally, close to vital organs. The abdominal region, visceral fat. From an evolutionary standpoint, it makes perfect sense. Your body reads low estrogen as a sign of scarcity and vulnerability, and responds by storing energy where it can access it quickly. The problem is, we're living in 2026 with constant food availability and chronic stress, and that survival mechanism has turned into a permanent storage system. And there's another key player here: insulin. With lower estrogen, insulin sensitivity drops. That means your body has to produce more insulin to process the same amount of carbs. And chronically elevated insulin sends a very clear message to your cells: store fat, don't burn it. So it's not just about where fat goes, it's that your entire hormonal environment now favors storage and resists burning. At the same time, your belly isn't neglect. It's the visible result of an invisible cascade. And once you understand that cascade, you stop fighting the symptom and start addressing the root. Now imagine a kind of internal noise you can't see, but it disrupts everything. You don't feel pain, you don't have a fever. Your basic labs come back normal, but inside, your immune system is on constant alert, burning energy, interfering with hormones, and slowing down metabolic processes that should be running smoothly. That's low-grade, chronic inflammation, and it's far more common after 40 than most people realize. With the drop in estrogen, which, beyond everything else, also has anti-inflammatory effects, your body loses a layer of protection. Your immune system becomes more reactive, and then any trigger can keep that alert state going. Poor sleep, chronic stress, gut imbalance, ultra-processed foods, inactivity. The metabolic impact is direct. Chronic inflammation disrupts insulin signaling, raises cortisol, impairs thyroid function, and blocks leptin, the hormone that's supposed to tell your brain you've had enough to eat. When leptin can't communicate properly, your brain thinks you're low on energy, and it responds by slowing your metabolism and increasing your appetite. It's a cycle. Inflammation disrupts your hormones. Dysregulated hormones fuel more inflammation, and you're stuck in the middle, doing everything right on the surface without understanding why your body isn't responding. Silent inflammation doesn't shout, it just slows things down, and being stuck when you're trying to move forward is frustrating in a way that goes beyond the physical. Your hormones wake up every day and seem to say, "Let's make things messy today." Sounds like a joke, but once you understand how hormonal communication actually works and what happens when it gets disrupted, it starts to feel a little too real. Your hormonal system works like a messaging network. Hormones are chemical signals. They're released by one organ, travel through your bloodstream, and arrive at a cell with a specific instruction: burn fat, store energy, stop eating, release cortisol. When that network is working properly, the messages arrive at the right time, with the right intensity, and your body responds with precision. After 40, that network starts to get interference. It's not that your hormones disappear, it's that the signals get distorted. Insulin sends the message, but your cells don't respond as well. Leptin says you're full, but your brain doesn't fully register it. Cortisol rises, signaling your body to store energy instead of using it. Ghrelin, which regulates hunger, becomes more active. And all of this is happening at once in a system that has lost the fine-tuning estrogen used to help maintain. The practical result? Your body starts making metabolic decisions based on faulty information. It thinks you're in a state of scarcity when you're not. It thinks you need more food when you don't. It thinks it should slow down when you need energy the most. This isn't sabotage, it's noise. The system didn't break, it lost precision. And when a system as complex as the female metabolism loses precision, the consequences are real, visible, and frustrating. The good news, and there is good news, is that systems that lose calibration can be recalibrated. Not overnight, and not with a single fix, but when you truly understand what's going on, the path forward becomes much clearer. If you know another woman who's doing everything right and still not seeing results, send this video to her. She probably needs to hear this. A slow metabolism rarely shows up with a big announcement. It whispers. And most women spend years brushing off those whispers as overreacting, normal fatigue, or just getting older. It's not. Some signs that deserve your attention: waking up tired even after a full night's sleep, feeling cold easily while everyone around you seems comfortable, slower digestion than usual, trouble focusing, that mental fog that shows up for no clear reason, subtle hair thinning, mood swings without an obvious trigger, and of course, weight that goes up or stalls even when your diet hasn't really changed. On their own, each of these seems small. Together, they tell a very specific metabolic story. You're doing everything right, but your body isn't responding the same way it used to. Sometimes all it takes is the right adjustment to bring it out of power-saving mode. Check the link below that I left for you. This is what actually changes the game. Because once you learn how to read the signals your body is sending, you stop guessing and start acting with direction. Your body isn't your enemy. It's entered a new phase, and it's asking for a different kind of conversation. Stop fighting it and start working with it. That's the new playbook. It's not about doing more. It's about understanding better and acting with precision where it truly matters. If you're one of the Metabels who's ready to stop trying to figure it out alone and start understanding the path forward, you're not alone here. That's exactly what we're here to do, together.